Hi, I'm Kelley Mountain with Goddess Modern, and in this video I'd like to share with you about one of the sections of the upcoming Temple of Venus event that I'm hosting in Marin County, which is in the Bay Area, California. It's a women's event. It's a day-long ritual and retreat, and it's going to have many different sections of the experience, a really nice balance between outward social engagement and connection, and then also inward reflection and stillness and exploration. And so one of the pieces of this experience is going to be a meditation practice. I'm really excited to share about this meditation practice with you because it's something that I've actually created in my own way and that I've been using actually for many years. It's been a kind of process of development over time, but the roots of it go back over 20 years for me. So I want to share with you a bit here about what that actually looks like and why it's beneficial. And so I'm going to share with you the bare bones structure of how it works and then share some of my own experiences of the benefits. And so my hope is that this inspires your meditation practice in some way, and perhaps it inspires you to come enjoy the Temple of Venus event happening Saturday, March 25th from 1 to 9 p.m. in San Anselmo. Okay, so some of you who are familiar with me and my work know that the topic of sensuality is a really, really strong theme of my work. And while I understand that most people connect that word sensuality to sex, and I certainly advocate for those kinds of experiences. When I talk about sensuality here and in a lot of my work, what I'm talking about is actually like sensuality just on its own, which is something that we can tap into and experience in any moment of life, and ultimately to just nutshell it down to what it is, it's receiving pleasure through the sensual input of any given moment of experience. And that receiving of pleasure through the sensual input is one very, very simple, fast, and free way to nourish the feminine energetic system of health and well-being. In Chinese herbal medicine, they would call it nourish the yin. In some classical tantric lineages, they might call it nourishing Shakti. So whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to call it the feminine energy for now. And so what it is a meditation practice that stimulates all five senses and beyond. So the benefit is that through grounding the mind into the body through sensual stimulation, it helps us deepen into our meditation practice and get more out of it. So I'll say just a quick piece on that. There's different types of meditations, obviously. There's different reasons why a person would want to meditate. And at the same time, I think it's important for there to be a distinction between a meditation practice and simply sitting and reflecting or clearing out the mind through processing whatever personal details are going on for us in the moment. All of which are valuable, and at the same time, I want to inspire and encourage people to approach, if the meditation practice is truly what you are wanting to invest your time, energy, and perhaps even money in, that you actually effort to make it a practice. And so a practice requires intention and effort. In meditation, there's a term, effortless effort, to describe the quality of effort that goes into a meditation practice. So part of why I'm saying that is because if you are wanting to engage in your meditation practice, there does need to be a degree of self-awareness of the mind and what the mind is doing. Is the mind just spinning out and processing? You know, that's one way to just help clear the mind and get clear on the personal details of whatever story we're spinning out on in that moment. And again, there is a value to that. And for me, and the way that I teach meditation to my clients is that meditation practice is actually to go beyond the layers of ego, beyond the layer of personal story, who I am, where I'm from, what's happened to me, what I want, what I need, all these things that are just so naturally a part of our moment-to-moment daily experience. And obviously they have a value, and there's a time and a place for all of that. And my understanding, at least, for why it is beneficial to meditate is because there's a value to accessing the aspects of our being that are deeper than all those personal details. It's an aspect of our being that has no name, it has no story, it has no drama, it has no history. It simply is. It simply exists, and it's aware. And through tapping into this part of ourselves, we actually are accessing an immense source of internal power that we can then consciously create with when we shift back into the mode of all those personal details of the story. It is a very deep well of the hidden, of the mystery, of the subconscious, of the void, of the feminine that we can tune into through our meditation, and to access a treasure trove of wisdom, guidance, inspiration, insight that can perhaps really support us in our journeys of self-development, healing, and transformation. All right, so here is the general breakdown of this meditation technique that I have designed, and I would be so curious if you tried it out and gave it some time so that you can explore what it is and how it works for you. I'd be so curious to receive your feedback if you feel inspired to share. Okay. I'm not gonna do a guided meditation in this video. I'm just gonna share the breakdown of what it is. And if you live in the Bay Area, California, or you'll be visiting at a time during March 25th of 2023 and are available on that day for a day-long women's ritual and retreat, I'll surely be guiding this experience, and it will involve an open eye meditation section at the end too, which I'll explain more in a little bit. Okay, so here it is. So I think it's pretty commonly understood that for meditation practice, you're gonna sit still and quiet. You're gonna close your eyes. Ideally, you are adopting a comfortable yet dignified upright posture. One in which your alignment is, you're in tune with your alignment of your jaw, your skull in relation to your neck, in relation to your shoulders and chest, in relation to your core and your pelvis. And ideally there's no other sounds happening, and you turned off all your devices, and you've created a little moment for you to connect deeply to yourself. Okay, so the eyes are closed, the lips are fully sealed, the jaw is slightly open with the tip of the tongue pressing gently against the roof of the mouth right behind the two front teeth. And the jaw is slightly open. The back of the throat is also open, so you can actually hear your breath as it moves up and down your throat. So this is a posture of the mouth and a style of breathing called Ujjayi breath, and it's very commonly used in yoga and meditation practices. It translates into victorious breath. So this is the posture of the mouth you're going to hold for the entire meditation. And in your hands, you are going to hold, I like to hold crystals in my hands, crystals or stones. Just quickly on that piece, I know that people have an idea about crystals, that it's just woo-woo, it's like fantasy play, it's not real, it's silly. What I'll say is sometimes things are true whether you believe them or not. And I'll add that crystals and stones are highly concentrated, dense forms of a pure mineral. So just like there's medicinal healing properties of foods and plants and all of the elements of nature, there are also medicinal healing properties in crystals and stones, because ultimately minerals is what makes up our entire, the earth aspect of our being, which is our body, our bones, our tissues. All of this stuff, all of this stuff is made of minerals, combinations of minerals. And so crystals and stones are highly condensed versions of these minerals that we have in our body, and they vibrate at certain frequencies. And what it does is it's a like attracts like kind of thing, where it enhances the vibrations of the minerals that are already existing in our being, in our body. Anyhow, so there's other benefits to crystals as well, but I would just say, if nothing else, then go ahead and hold your hand in a mudra of some kind. This is typically a mudra used in meditation, or you can do it with your middle finger and your thumb. So, or you can hold your hands in a position like so, or even just in a position like this. So there's a lot of different types of mudras that you can hold your hands in. And if nothing else, if you don't believe in the spiritual qualities of crystals and stones or holding your hands in mudras, it's okay. You don't need to, and I'm not here to force you to. But one benefit you can receive from it, even so, would be just, again, we're talking about sensual stimulation. There is a sensual stimulation that happens in this posture, in this posture, in this posture. It's all a form of sensual input. And so one of the levels that we're working on engaging is the sensation of touch. Okay, so moving on. So first of all, bringing awareness to the breath as it moves in and out of the nose. And you're gonna stay with that also through the entire meditation, just like you would with the posture of the mouth and the breathing. You're gonna close your eyes. You're gonna relax all of the muscles in the face. So even starting with the muscles surrounding the skull and in the forehead, in between the brow, surrounding the eyes, and in the jaw. And this is gonna be a really, really important piece to continue coming back to over and over again, because what you'll find is that when you really do fully relax all the muscles in the face, it actually helps the ego part of our mind to relax, and it helps create an access point into the deeper layers of mind and self and being and awareness. You see, when we are tensing in our face, when we're making an expression of any kind, it is an expression of a thought or a feeling. And while that's a very natural part of the human experience, again, going back to the piece where to engage in a meditation practice where we're wanting to go to deeper layers of our awareness, deeper access points of the mind and self and awareness. We're wanting to go even deeper than the personal details of, my name is Kelley and I live in Marin and I do healing and transformational work with women and I'm from San Jose and I've lived this life. And, you know, it's like again, there's obviously a time and a place for all that. But in the meditation practice, it's for me anyways, that's not the time and the place for that, because there's an intention, there's a reason why I'm engaging in the meditation practice, and it's to access these deeper aspects of my being and awareness, and ultimately my feminine energy and source of power. Okay, so eyes are closed, lips are sealed, attention is on the breathing, the face is relaxed, and then bringing conscious awareness to going through each of the 5 physical senses of touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight, which I'll briefly walk through right now. Okay, so I think I already mentioned about the touch part. So you can actually, expanding off that, other ways to bring awareness to that sense is to notice the way that the clothes feel on the skin. Notice the way that the floor feels beneath the body, the floor, the cushion, whatever you're sitting on. Even to a far more subtle degree, but again, like really beneficial to refine the awareness of, is the feeling of the air surrounding the body. And then, you know, moving through sense of taste, just noticing the flavors in your mouth, and, you know, perhaps even of your breath. Ideally, it's something pleasurable. Sometimes it's nice to use like some breath spray of some kind, even if you don't need it, just to like enhance the taste, and also the smell. You know, that would definitely enhance your sense of smell as well. But also with the sense of smell, tuning into like any fragrances you have in the room. Perhaps you just burn some sage or some cedar. Perhaps you have some incense burning. So, you know, attaching your awareness to the sense of smell. Hearing, the sense of hearing. So I like to first focus on all of the sounds that are in the far off distance that I can perceive. And then next I bring it into sounds that are in my immediate surrounding environment. And then I bring it closer into the sound of my breathing. So that's touch, taste, smell, and hearing. And so next, the sense of sight. This one is going to require a bit of your, maybe an equal combination of your intuition and your imagination. And when I describe this and guide in this part specifically, what I want to say is, don't get too mental about this piece. Just go with the first impulse that arises in you with this piece, and simply be open and let it be. So because we're in meditation, our physical eyes are closed, right? So the guidance is that while keeping the physical eyes closed, you're gonna imagine that inside, like I like to imagine, like if I were to go like straight back here and straight back here, that towards the back here, almost like there's an eye that I can open that's located back here, and it actually opens out of the third eye and projects outward into space from my third eye center. So you can take this piece and just simply experiment with it and just see what happens. You know, I know some of this is like, it might sound a little bit out there, but and I've been working with this stuff for over 20 years, and I gain a lot of benefit from it, and that's why I teach it to people, to my clients, because it helps them too. And what I'm laying out here is basically a step-by-step process in how to really drop into your meditation, and have it be more of a productive experience than just simply sitting there and just like processing all your personal details and stories. Again, which also has benefit and will be productive, but if your goal is to tap into the deeper, intuitive, feminine, mysterious wellspring of source energy within you, then you're gonna wanna guide your meditation experience in a way that's going to give that to you. So, okay. So here you are, you're in the zone, your eyes are closed, your focus is on your breath, your face is relaxed, you're connected to your sense of touch, sound, taste, hearing, and sight. And so now you're ready to drop in and do the practice. What I like to do is set a timer on my phone. I set it for 20 minutes. And that gives me time to get into this space, and it gives me time to access those deeper parts of my awareness, of my being. And what I'll say is that I've been meditating pretty much every single day for 22 years. And what I'll say is that it always begins with a section at the beginning where I am just processing through my personal details. And there's a necessary functioning to that. It's almost like you gotta kind of clear some layers out of the way, before just like sitting and fully dropping in. That can happen too, but it's more, I'm just saying that more often it goes in this other way for me personally. And within that, I also have my awareness on, okay, like, when is enough enough? What I'll say is there is a very, very fine line between what's necessary and what's indulgent. And when you're engaging in a practice of some kind, it's really important to be tuned into that. Because if it's a practice, the word practice, it insinuates that you're wanting to develop that part of yourself. So again, there is an aspect of discipline, and of discipline in this case of the mind. Okay, and so the trick of how to drop into this space and to stay there, because what's going to happen is that you'll drop in and then your mind is going to start processing your personal information again. And you'll notice when it does that if you bring awareness to your face, that your facial muscles are once again starting to tense up, typically around here, typically in here. You'll note, and the reason that is, the facial muscles are tensing up because your ego mind is processing. And it's a very simple, effective, easy way to drop into the deeper layers when you catch yourself on that spin cycle of the personal processing. You'll know. Because you'll be thinking about like all the random details of your life situation. So that, and then in combination, so if you catch your mind doing that, you most likely are scrunching in the face again. So simply coming back to the breath and again, relaxing all of the muscles in the face and just further seeing where you can further soften and let go and relax. And the combination of this will help you release the personal details so that you can drop back into your meditation, your meditation, and access those deeper layers of yourself. So then the guidance from there is just to be in your meditative zone for as long as works for you. Like I said, I like to set a timer for 20 minutes. And what I'll do is once the timer goes off. So for me, in the times when I have the time, or maybe I'll fit it into the 20 minutes that I've allotted for myself, I will burn a candle and I'll place it on the table in front of me at a level to where when I have my eyes open, I can easily see the candle flame in front of me. And so at the end of my meditation where my eyes are closed, what I'll do is I'll open my eyes and I will continue on with the entire practice as I've been doing it. But the difference is now that for the sense of sight, my eyes are open and I'm staring at this candle flame. And now that I've been in that meditative zone and I've accessed these deeper parts of me and my mind has paused from all the spin cycle of whatever like the personal details of the story is, what I do is I keep my eyes open and I stare at this candle flame, but I keep the origin of sight coming from this place back here still and projecting out my third eye center through the center of my mind. So I'll keep that while staring at this candle flame, and it just goes really, really deep into the meditative space from there, and it actually gets kind of like visually a little bit trippy. But if you practice it and it works for you, what you might find is that it allows you to drop deeper into your meditation while actually having your eyes open. And so part of why we do things like meditation practice or like a yoga practice, there's a quality of alignment that we are conditioning our body, our mind, our energy to through those practices. And at least for me, the idea, and I think for a lot of people, the idea is that it's at our altar, on our meditation cushion, it's on our yoga mat where we do these practices, where we cultivate these parts of ourselves so that then when we're off the mat, when we're not sitting at our altar or on our meditation cushion, we then take that alignment and we apply it to the moment-to-moment daily life, which is where the real work comes in. I want to make a note too about staring at a candle flame. So if you're a woman and you're either menstruating or you're experiencing menopausal symptoms, what I would say is don't stare directly at the flame. Maybe you have a candle lit and maybe like right below it or right above it, maybe there's a flower that you've placed there, or maybe there's a crystal of some kind. Allow that to be what's called your drishti, your point, your focus with your gaze. And stare at that rather than staring at the flame, the immediate flame itself, because when you're menstruating as a woman, or if you're a woman going through menopausal symptoms, then that flame is a very hyper yang energy to bring into your being when you're in those cycles of the month or cycles of life, and it will be most serving to the health of your feminine energetic system to engage in activities that are more yin based, yin nourishing, so things that are really stimulating, so activities and things that are really stimulating, very yang, should be during those times of month or cycles of life, like kept more minimal and be used more with intention, with keeping the priority of like the activities and elements engaging with being to nourish and support the yin. The feminine energetic system of health and well-being. Okay, so what I would say is that if this interests you at all, I would say go back and watch the video and maybe take notes of like the different steps and stuff. I'll say that I receive a tremendous amount of benefit through this practice, and that's why I love sharing it. And part of why I love sharing it, especially with my clients, like I do a lot of one-on-one work with clients, guiding them through meditation and breath work and visualization. And a lot of my clients aren't necessarily in the spiritual and healing realms of life. And so one thing I like about this practice specifically is that it really, in my experience anyways, of working with so many people over the years, it's a very easy way for anybody to grab onto it and get into that deeper meditative space and have it be effective and productive. And if it's done on a daily, regular basis, which ideally meditation is happening on a daily, regular basis, even if you can give yourself just 5 or 10 minutes a day, it's an essential aspect to nourishing and keeping the feminine energetic system of our being really nourished and supported. It's really important for all aspects of health, especially having to do with our psychology. Okay, so I think that is about it. If this is something that sounds interesting to you, that you want to experience in a group with other women, and if you happen to be available on Saturday, March 25th from 1 to 9 p.m. in Marin County, California, I would be so delighted if you would consider joining me and this group of women for a day of ritual and retreat, where I can actually help facilitate and guide through this experience and through a lot of other sections of the experience that I just feel like are going to be really beneficial to women and to the women individually, and also to the women collectively, to help build the web together, because it's just so nourishing and supportive and inspiring to share this work in circle with women, especially the more meditative spiritual aspects of it, because when doing so, there are significant threads that get revealed that really make it clear of the psychic space that we really all hold together, just simply by being together, but most certainly by sharing experiences of ritual and intention, where we are intentionally working together to cultivate these aspects of ourselves even more. And so it's going to be a really beautiful experience. There's going to be some sensual movement facilitation and, like I said, ritual. There's going to be I'm going to be guiding through what I call sensual play exercises between women that ideally helps to awaken them to their own senses and to their own relationship to giving and receiving. And ideally, for women who are coupled, they can take these concepts into their partnerships and enjoy them there in a number of different ways. And just to clarify, when I talk about sensual play exercises, these are strictly sensual in nature. They are not sexual. Although, like I said, if you wanted to take it into your partnership and play with it in various ways, it can most certainly be enjoyed in combination with your sexuality. So, all right, well, I will put out all of the event information in the description to this video, and also there's a link in my bio if you want to check it out more. Again, the name of the event is Temple of Venus. It's a day-long ritual and retreat for women. It's in Marin County, California, March 25th, 1 to 9 p.m. And if you're in the area and you're interested, oh gosh, I would be so happy to have you join us, and it's going to be really, really special. So go ahead and check out the website information if you'd like. Everything you need is there. Thank you so, so much for your time and listening to this video, and I hope that it was able to offer you some kind of value to support and enhance your own practice and relationship to meditation and to your own relationship to sensuality. Thanks so much.